There we go. Unmuted. Good morning, everybody. I can't say it's the most gorgeous day outside today, but let's be honest. Joy, happiness, and light is what comes from within, and not always what is without. So let's get some light light going inside of us, some joy, as we come to this great class of Judaism's 12 big ideas. And my friends, the end is here. We are now at the second and final part of the 12th big idea. But before that, I have just a few quick announcements. Mazel tov to our JTEX winner, Irene Pave, who answered the question, which actually had me thinking last night. How many days are in the Jewish calendar? The Jewish calendar is a lunar calendar, and therefore it's not the typical 365 days. Irene was the seventh person to answer it correctly, so she will be getting her bottle of wine, being able to say L'chaim. And Irene, Mazel Tov on the graduation of Kyle. It was a great surprise as I was standing outside the office one afternoon, and all of a sudden I hear this kid in this parade of all these seniors of Council Rock screaming, "Hey, Rabbi Shem Tov!" Mazel Tov on Kyle's graduation, and Mazel Tov Kyle if you get to see this. So that is our JTEX winner. Again, the reminder to sign on to jewishcenter.info/JTEX and join this growing, exciting community of learners every Sunday, every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Takes a few minutes, but brings a lot of joy. I also want to remind everyone about the great event, 26 Minutes, 26 Voices. Next week, go to 26minutes26voices.com for a wonderful virtual interactive commemorative program in honor of the Rebbe's Yahrzeit. If you go to this website, you will find more info next week, June 23rd, 2020 at 7:30 p.m. So, my dear friends, the end is here. We have finally made it to the 12th big idea, to the second part. It's Thursday, and here we conclude with an idea that is so powerful, so meaningful. At first, you may think, why does this come at the end? This is something that should probably be in the beginning, because, whoops, got wrong button. Because when we talk about joy and happiness, you would think that happiness is the first and foremost idea before you begin anything. But as we started in our class on Tuesday, and we will continue again today, there's something very deep about this happiness. There's something very deep about the idea of joy as presented in this big idea that really comes to the end and allows you to go further. So let's just go quickly, and let me share the screen now properly, that we've discussed over the last few months 12 big ideas of Judaism. And we started, I guess 12 weeks ago or a little more, because it was Passover. We took a break with the idea of point number one, which is the idea of guidance. And we worked our way through all the way to this idea of happiness. And the idea of happiness is expressed in the 12th verse of a chapter in Tanya. Let me get that off here. A chapter in Tanya that quotes a verse of Psalm, Yismach Yisrael b'osav, that a Jew should rejoice in their maker. And there's many ideas on what this means, that a Jew should rejoice in their maker. So in the Tanya, he explains that every Jew should share in the joy of God, who rejoices and is happy in his home in this world. Again, every Jew should rejoice in their maker. Every Jew should share in the joy of God, who rejoices and is happy in his home in this world. And as you remember from last time, the previous big idea was the clarity of the idea of purpose and mission, that we have a purpose in this world. And our purpose in this world is that everything we do needs to be infused and imbued with the moral values and mission and purpose that God has given to make this world a world that is more comfortable and conducive and interactive with these great godly ideals. Now, when you do that kind of purpose, you don't always have joy. So this is the last idea, that when you do this mission, when you live this life of depth and meaning and purpose, don't do it out of guilt. Don't do it because you're scared to do the wrong thing. Do it out of joy. Do it with joy in your heart, because joy is not just a tool. Joy is not just a luxury. Joy is an important tool because joy breaks barriers. And without the joy and happiness, you're holding yourself from reaching what you can truly achieve. So joy is not the luxury. Joy is a necessary tool to be able to open yourself up to reach the final destiny that you need to achieve, to maximize all that you can achieve. So that was a general big idea that we discussed of why it's important to be happy, why this comes after the other big idea of your purpose and mission. Because part of your purpose and mission, and to fulfill it properly, you need to make sure that you can develop joy and happiness in your life. Now, today we're going to say, and this idea in this verse doesn't just tell us that you have to be happy, but it also gives you a pathway to happiness. A lot of people say, be happy, be joyful, be happy, be joyful. But how? How can one really bring a sense of happiness and joy into what they do? So if you read this verse again, it doesn't just tell you to rejoice. What does it mean to rejoice in your Maker? And that is to be joyful with what God, your Creator, enjoys. You're not just having a superficial joy in your life, but every Jew should share in the joy of God, who rejoices and is happy in his home in this world. You see, many times when we rely on our own ideas of joy, it's very temporary, very fleeting. For what comes in, what makes us happy today, won't necessarily make you happy tomorrow. But when you're able to tune in to the joy of your Maker, and you're joyful not for yourself, but for the Creator, who through you is fulfilling his desire or her desire, God's desire, that itself brings you joy. So what does this mean? It seems a little abstract. How do I know what makes God happy? So let me share with you quickly 2 ideas what this means on a very practical and meaningful level. You know, when I once walked into Home Depot many years ago when it opened, there was something that struck me. Every employee in Home Depot wore this red, what do you call it, apron. And on the bottom, there was a statement, I am a shareholder. On each of their, I don't know if they still do that, but it used to be on the orange apron of the employee at Home Depot, there was a statement, I am a shareholder. Now, I was thinking, really? How many shares do you have? And how much of the shares do you own? But in a sense, that was irrelevant. The fact that this employee felt that they have a stake, they have skin in the success of this company, whether it's big or small, makes them feel proud, makes them feel more excited about doing the job they've done. Now, the owner of Home Depot has a lot of shares and many stocks, but that doesn't matter to the employee. What matters is that they also have part of this game. What the company makes as a whole is something that trickles down into their own bank account. And this, in a sense, is what the Torah is trying to teach us. If you're looking for your personal joy, it will be very finite and limited. Align yourself with the bigger picture. Are the things that God created this world for? Is the purpose and mission of creation being fulfilled? Although you're fulfilling it in just a little bit, you just have a tiny share. But you own a stake of this big corporation called creation. When you're able to align your joy with the joy of the greater purpose of creation, that is more permanent, because now you're aligning yourself into the infinite part of your Creator. Now, this is very hard to try to achieve, but the more we can work towards seeing ourselves, not about our personal little part of this world, but knowing that this part of this world is part of the greater picture, that is one pathway that brings you to a more joyful, purposeful, and meaningful living. And being joyful doesn't mean walking around with a smile and giddy all day. Being joyful means living with a sense of purpose and fulfillment. But it goes a little deeper. And here we have an extremely deep message, not only about our relationship with God, but our relationships in general. What does it mean to be joyful in the joy of your Creator? So let's look at this in terms of a relationship. We're not just happy for God because we're having a relationship, because we know that we matter to God. We are joyful for God because we are what the Torah is trying to help us achieve in a very true and meaningful relationship of oneness with our Creator. Now, let me give you a very practical example, right? Let's take any relationship, a relationship between a husband and a wife. Now, I'm going to play the husband's role here because I'm a man, but this can go both ways. So my wife asks me to do something. What is the more better response? Oh my gosh, I got to do that again. Or, hey, if that's what you want me to do, I'm glad to do it for you. Right? Everyone think in their life, when you're asked by your spouse to do something, what is your response? If it's the former, you got problems in the relationship that you have to work with. But if you really love the person, if that's what they want you to do, you do it with joy because you love them. But marriage is not just about love. Marriage is about union, about being one. So if you love the person, the highest thing you'll do is do it with joy, because if that's what she wants and that's what makes her happy, then I'm happy. I'll do it gladly. But when you're one and when you're in a union, there's a whole different level that we need to achieve. It's not just that, oh my gosh, that, doesn't count. It's not just, of course, if that's what you'd like, I'll do it for you gladly. There's a higher level. I'm not doing this because that's what she likes. What she likes is what I like. We are one. So what makes my wife happy makes me happy. I'm not making her happy because then I may show love and respect for someone else. But ultimately, in a relationship and in union is you are making yourself happy, because what brings the other happiness is your happiness. That's a high level to achieve. But that is what reflects the difference between a union of marriage and just a friendship, even a loving relationship. I'm a friend with someone, but they are separate from me. I could even love someone, but I love them. Then there is, I'm one with someone. And that's what the union of marriage is. And that's what the union of our relationship with God. We don't just serve God. We don't just want to make God happy. Ultimately, we need to realize that we are one with our Creator. We are not this little finite creature roaming through the world, doing their little thing. We are one with the infinite Creator. This is empowering. This is so uplifting, so encouraging. I don't do something for God because if I don't, I'll feel guilty. I rejoice in my Creator's joy. The purpose and mission that I'm here in this world isn't God's purpose for me. It has become my purpose. And when we can align ourselves to our Creator, to our purpose, and to our mission, so in such union, in such oneness, that is the ultimate level of joy. And that is a joy that cannot be broken, because it's a lot deeper than the finite movings and the finite movements and the finite activities of our life. That is a union, that is a joy that stems from the deepest core of who we are, as it expresses itself in all the details of our life. So I want to express this in a very practical way in a story that I've shared already in this series, but it's, for me, one of the most important stories that I've ever heard about the ideas of Judaism. And that is with this famous chassid I mentioned many times, who happens to be my great uncle, Rabbi Mendel Futerfas, who was stuck in jail or more than jail, in Siberia, in the gulags, for opening underground Jewish synagogues and schools during communist Stalinist Russia. Now, he was a very joyful and cheerful person. And while he's sitting in his cell, the other prisoners are looking at him. Why? He's like this. He's this joy. He has this happiness to him. And he's sitting in the Russian gulag up in Siberia. And they turned to him and said, what's up with you, Mendel? What's going on? Why are you so happy? He says, why am I happy? Why are you so depressed? Why we're depressed. And each one gives their tragic story of what they were before they came into jail. Now their lives are shattered. And when they go out, this one was this. And now they can't practice medicine. They can't practice law. They can't practice whatever it is that their story was. So they said, well, why? Why should we be happy? And here Reb Mendel answered that this is, I tell you, this is one of the most powerful stories that moves me and guides me throughout my life. What Mendel says is, that's why I'm happy. Before I came into this prison cell, I was in this world for a mission by God. There was a purpose in what I did before I came in. When I leave the cell, there's still a purpose of why I'm here. And even in this gulag, there's a reason why I'm here. Because my purpose and my value isn't created by things outside of me or by what my career is. My purpose and value is created by the fact that God gave me a life, allowed me to wake up this morning, and gave me a mission. The mission may change from before, after, or during, but the fact that I have a purpose and a meaning, that never changes, and that can never be taken away. This is the ultimate message of Judaism. This is the ultimate big idea of what Judaism tries to teach us, that your purpose and value is not generated from without. Your purpose and value is generated from within. And what is within? Your connection and your connectedness to your creator and the purpose of why you're here. So there it goes, my friends. Those are the 12 big ideas. And this last idea is the biggest idea. And then, of course, it always has me share the screen again. And then, of course, you always have the question, all right, so you're telling me that I have this mission in life. I have this great mission in life. And this mission is supposed to bring me joy. So how do I know what the mission is? How do I know how to relate to Creator? Let's go back to step one. We go to the first of the 12 big principles of Torah, Tziva, Lanu, Moshe, Marasha, Kihilat, Yaakov. That the Torah that Moshe commanded us is the heritage of the congregation of Jacob. See, we reach to the level, to the top, but like every Simchat Torah, when we celebrate the completion of Torah, we go right to the beginning. Because now that we have a better understanding through this journey of the 12 big ideas of how we are connected and what drives our relationship, what drives our purpose, and the joy that it's meant to be, now we go back again and start the journey and look at the Torah a little bit different. Look at the ideas of unity a little bit different and continue to explore this as we go on and on in life. So as we began, Judaism has a lot of ideas, a lot of big things in hundreds of thousands of pages, maybe millions of words. And how do we make this into something that is meaningful, that can guide us towards a meaningful life? Is what the Rebbe did, is take all these ideas and move them into these 12 simple principles. And these 12 simple principles are the ideas that we've discussed over the past few months. And I posted it on our website. Let me get onto that you can review them. Not only can you review the recordings, but if you go to virtualjewishcenter.org and click on the bulletin board, the first resources are the 12 big ideas, the simple, basic verses. And then when you want to understand them, then you can go to our recording in the library and hear them again. But go to the bulletin board on jewishcenter.org, download the 12 verses, review them. They're very basic verses, very basic ideas, but hopefully through the journey that we've taken over the last few months on these broadcasts, and if it has brought you more meaning, and if you go on the website into the library recordings, you'll be able to review the ideas that we've studied. I'd like to conclude with reminding everyone again that tomorrow morning is Friday, and tomorrow morning, therefore, we won't have our class, but we will meet in the evening at 5:30 for the pre-Shabbat sermon and song together with Matt Check and discuss the ideas of the portion of the week. So tomorrow we will not meet in the morning. We will meet at 5:30 p.m. And once again, I want to conclude to reminding everyone about the great event next week, 26 minutes, 26 voices. It's a great virtual tribute to the Rebbe, which won't just be a tribute to the Rebbe, but will allow us to learn a very important message about meeting challenges in our life. Spread the word. It's a Zoom message. It will be interactive. It will be engaging. And I'm sure it'll be 26 minutes that will give you a lot of insight for many, many hours, days, and weeks to come. For now, have a beautiful day. Still a little gloomy outside, but hopefully the ideas of the Torah, the inspiration of our faith, will bring sunshine and light into your own lives and through you to the lives of the many people that you touch. Have a wonderful day.